This is the third video in our PLC tutorial series. In this video we'll show you how to use the timer function to activate an output a certain amount of time after the input has been received to the PLC. We're using the same setup as the previous two videos, with door A wired to input 1, door B to input 2 and door C to input 3. The normally open switch is also still wired to input 4. You can see the inputs come down to the PLC here, and our singular output in this case is the bell, which is wired to the bottom of the PLC here. We're going to give you two examples on the software today. The first example, the timer is going to be set to 5 seconds and the bell will activate after door B into input 2 has been open for 5 seconds, and in the first instance the timer will be reset once the door is closed and be reset to 0 seconds. So once it's reopened and 5 seconds elapse again, the bell will sound again. And in the second example we'll show you, door B will also be set to 5 seconds, but in this instance the normally open switch will be pressed to reset the timer. Ewan's now going to show you how to use the software to achieve the desired results.
Right, the first step is to put the inputs on rung 1, which Rob was saying is we're going to use door B, which is normally closed contact. So select the input and bring it up to rung 1. It's input 2 in the PLC, which is door B, normally closed, and then OK. Now the next step is to put the timer into the rung, and the timer is found down here, which is symbol T, and then bring that up to here. For our first video, we're going to, as Rob was explaining, we're going to do the automatic resets. So after the timer is finished, the bell will sound, but then when the door is closed, it'll reset. And this is done by basically just selecting mode 1. And we're going to change the time base to 1 second, and we're going to time this for 5 seconds. And this is done here in the preset value. And once that is set, you click OK. And then we're going to complete the first rung by joining them up using the line. The next step is to select another input to go to rung 2. This now, because we're using a timer, we now need to select the timer for the input, and this is found along here, along the top tab. So you scroll over to T01 to match up with our timer here, and that is going to be a normally open contact, and click OK. And the last step is to put the output in, which is the bell, and the output's down here, which is a Q. That will go on to the end here of rung 2, and as Rob was explaining, the bell is still as in output 1, so that's coil number 1, and select OK. And now to finish it off, we simply just join them up by using this. Now the program is complete and is ready to be written to the PLC. So this is done by going to Operation and Write. Yes. Now we're going to run the program to see it working. As you can see here, the contacts are currently closed as they're normally closed. So once we open the input 2, we'll time for 5 seconds and the bell should sound. So now we'll demonstrate that happening.
So Ewan's going to open door B, which is the central door, and after 5 seconds the output, which is the bell, will sound. Once the door's closed, the timer resets, and I can show you if he opens the door once more, that after another 5 seconds the bell will sound again. Now Ewan's going to show you how to use the software to create a timer that is reset not by the closing of the door, but by pressing the normally open switch. So he's going to stop the software and then rewrite the lines.
This is done by simply, you can go into the timer function here, opens this screen back up, but this time we're going to select mode 2. So this is done here in function, under function mode 2. And as you can see here, it's introduced the reset now. And as Rob was saying, we're going to use the reset as our normally open switch. Now the reset is done down here, similar to the counter function. So you select the contact to I, which stands for input. And that is going to be input 4 to match up with our PLC. And once that is set, you can click OK. Now as you can see here, it now shows input 4 there as the reset. So now we can rewrite this now to the PLC, and I will demonstrate this as well. Then run.
Right, now we can demonstrate that if door B, which is input 2, is open for 5 seconds, the bell will sound, but the flicking of the normally open switch to closed will reset the timer. So if Ewan opens the door, the bell sounds. Now the switch is flicked, and if he opens the door again, you'll see it goes off again. And you can flick the switch again to reset the timer. And that's how to use the timer function on the PLC software.